like many banks right now, regional execs like yourself are dealing with this tough task of deciding who should come back to the office, when to resume business travel. And of course, it goes all the way down to even how many people should be in the elevators right now. Tell us a little bit more about what Barclays' roadmap is for getting people back to work.
Yvonne, thank you very much for having me this morning. So, as we think about getting employees back to the office, I think the first and most important consideration for us, and I'm sure for our competitors in the market as well, is employee safety. We are guided first and foremost by how many employees is it safe to bring in, are the employees comfortable coming in. Employees have different circumstances, and we have to be sensitive, and we will remain sensitive to them. I guess the other consideration, which is equally important, is the situation on the ground in each of the countries in which we operate. As some of your viewers know, we operate in 6 principal markets in Asia Pacific, all the way across from Japan, Hong Kong, China, Singapore, Australia, and India. And the circumstances in each of these markets is really quite different. India is still seeing an uptick in infection rates, and we are proceeding extremely cautiously, while on the other hand, the situation in Hong Kong is quite stable, and a number of our competitors in the market, including Barclays, are bringing staff back to the office. So, in response to your question, I think that it's really guided by employee safety. Of course, getting traders back to the office is important. But what we found in the last couple of months is that trading teams have operated very effectively in the distributed model that we followed in working from home. So we'll continue to focus on employee safety and the situation on the ground as we bring people back.
And we've heard a number of bank execs have said that staff may actually continue to work from home in the post-COVID area and reducing the need for office space. Where are you on that debate there, Jaideep? And are you considering some of these issues now?
Yes, we certainly are considering some of these issues. The past couple of months have demonstrated to us that we can be quite effective working from home. And for some employees in some roles, that is certainly something that we would like to continue into the future. However, there is a certain social aspect of working together. There are informal, information networks. Colleagues enjoy working with each other, and the office environment provides some benefits that working from home can't replicate, even with the best technology. So I think where we will end up in future is really a hybrid model for the bulk of our employees back to the office, but certainly a greater acceptance for working from home and more of our employees taking that option. In some cases, the roles may permit exclusively working from home, but I don't think we are at a stage where we are going to insist or press anyone to exclusively work from home. So it will evolve into effectively a hybrid model with a great deal more acceptance of work from home.
Jaideep, when you look across the APAC region, where do you see the key opportunities for Barclays at this point?
So, Tom, I remain very, very optimistic about Asia. Barclays has been present in Asia for over 50 years. During this period, the Asian economies, the ones that we are present in, have been through several cycles. We've seen the emergence of China and more recently, strong growth in India. As we sit currently, all Asian economies, including China, including India, Japan, all of them will see significant contraction this year. But I remain extremely optimistic about the long-term prospects for Asia. Asia will form a larger component of the, of global growth, of the global economy. The populations in this part of the world are very aspirational, and that will lead to significant growth opportunities. Now, specifically, we are present in in all the principal markets. China very clearly will provide significant opportunity. India is a market where we have a very strong business. And we have established presences in Australia, in Japan, and Singapore as well. But China and India will dominate the opportunities in this part of the world.
Has the pandemic in any way changed your plans, your expansion plans for the Chinese market?
The pandemic has really, bolstered our confidence in our approach for Asia Pacific. We have what I believe and continue to maintain the right operating model for the opportunities in this part of the world. We focus on our strengths and where we can add value to our customers in Asia. China remains a market where we have, we believe and we see a significant opportunity, and we have a large client base. India equally, and the other markets that I mentioned as well. So to answer your question directly, no, the pandemic has not changed our plans at all, and we continue to be focused on growing our businesses very deliberately in all the markets that we are operating in.
Jaideep, what about Hong Kong? Obviously, in the last 24 hours, we learned UK banks like HSBC, Standard Chartered, have backed Beijing on this national security bill. How is Barclays approaching this sort of tug of war we're seeing between the West and the East right now in China? And does it lend yourself into reconsidering your presence here in the city?
Yvonne, as I've said, all of Asia and China are strategically important to Barclays, and we will do what is necessary for us to continue to serve our clients in this part of the world. Our international clients continue to remain very engaged with opportunities in Asia Pacific and opportunities in China. And equally, our Chinese clients work with us to get access to international markets. So, while we certainly are aware and following very closely the developments between the markets, we are focusing on what we do best, which is serve our clients and try and show them the best opportunities for them in global capital markets and global businesses.
How do you think this bill, if we continue to see protests here in the city, how does that impact Hong Kong as a financial hub, Jaideep?
Well, uncertainty in any form is something that most businesses don't like. Equally, security and the rule of law is very, very important because it provides stability. So, as I said, we are following the developments extremely closely. We believe that Hong Kong is an important financial center, and it will remain an important financial center. And we hope that matters begin to settle down, and we begin to return our focus exclusively on the business. And really, the populations of China, Hong Kong, and the region that need economic development to lift their lifestyle in the economies. So while we continue to watch the developments, I personally believe that Hong Kong will remain an important financial center.
So, Jaideep, just to confirm, you aren't thinking and you haven't had any discussions about changing Barclays' presence in Hong Kong?
At this point, absolutely not.
So let's talk about the business then. Where are you seeing most activity? Are you seeing activity when it comes to M&A, IPOs, underwriting? Where's the real buzz at this moment? Where are you making money?
So the first 3 months of the year have been extremely strong for Barclays, particularly our corporate and investment banking business. And as some of your viewers know, our presence in Asia Pacific is largely our corporate and investment bank, with a private banking presence only in India. The month of March and then following through into April, saw a great deal of activity, particularly in the rates and FX in the macro markets. And that's an area where globally we have performed extremely well. And the global performance has been reflected in Asia too. On the capital market side, the first couple of months of the year saw very high issuance volumes from Asian clients. There was a slower period in March and April, but May has begun extremely strongly. And we expect that by the end of the year, we should be able to match the kind of volumes that we saw in 2019, which was a record year for debt capital markets and financing opportunities in Asia Pacific. So, the macro business has had a very, very strong performance. Our trading businesses in general have had a strong performance. And within banking, capital markets has been an outlier. As we look ahead, as a consequence of the pandemic, the economic slowdown, the stress on various business models, we do believe that the advisory businesses, the M&A business, will see more opportunity, and our structured financing and our structured credit businesses will also see significant opportunity.
Yeah, Jaideep, you mentioned about trading. Barclays has lost more than a dozen top traders in your treasury desk in the last 8 months, and only been able to fill some of those positions so far. How are you trying to juggle with fewer staff, dealing with clients amid this risk aversion, and really getting more business for the bank right now, at a time when you're also working remotely out of the U.S. as well?
So, Yvonne, we continue to invest in Asia Pacific. We've had significant hires across the platform, both in markets businesses, on the trading side, on the distribution side, as well as in banking across the region, in Hong Kong, in Japan, pretty much in each and every one of our geographies. We have continued to invest. As far as risk aversion is concerned, I don't think there is, I don't subscribe to that at all. We've seen increased activity in the first 4 months of the year, particularly, as I said, in March and April. Serving our clients has meant that we continue to take risks and intermediate in the markets. So there hasn't been a backing away from fulfilling our responsibility and obligations to our clients, and that includes taking and managing risks very effectively.